We have developed a reflex for boredom. The moment the world around us slows down, we reach for a screen and begin swiping aimlessly through an infinite stream of digital content. This habit took root as mass media grew. Early television cameras brought the scale of a stadium into the private home, beginning a shift toward manufactured images for daily entertainment. It's easy to imagine that before these machines existed, our ancestors lived in a state of constant, joyless labor. We often picture early humans as survivors who had no time for anything beyond the search for food and shelter. But archaeological evidence and the stories they left behind suggest a different reality. These people experienced the same range of emotions we do. They felt curiosity, they sought out excitement, and they looked for ways to enjoy their lives. When the hunt was over and the fire was lit, the work of survival paused. In those hours of rest, humans naturally turned toward the same thing we look for today, a way to be entertained. This impulse for enjoyment existed tens of thousands of years ago. The desire for distraction is a part of our history that predates civilization itself. Survival was never guaranteed. Food was scarce, the weather was unpredictable, and predators were a constant threat. Because their lives were so physically demanding, the moment when they could actually stop and gather together carried immense value. In the total darkness outside the fire, storytelling became a performance. Without books or screens, individuals used their voices and bodies to recreate hunts, imitate animals, and share myths that could hold a tribe's attention for hours. This visualization represents how these stories functioned as a tribal memory bank. A narrative about a failed hunt or a strange encounter, passed on specific warnings about dangerous places, and shared knowledge about the stars and the seasons. Because nothing was written down, the tribe depended on these performers to keep their history alive. The more engaging the story, the more likely the next generation was to remember the lessons hidden within it. Humans also found rhythm long before they developed formal musical theory. They used clapping, stones, and their own voices to create sounds that accompanied their rituals and social gatherings. We have physical proof of this musical history in flutes carved from bone, some of which date back tens of thousands of years. These instruments show that even in a world of survival, people invested time in creating tools purely for sound. Shared stories and music helped a small group feel like a single unified team. These activities acted as a social glue, strengthening the bonds between individuals who relied on one another for safety. Movement was another outlet for expression. Communal dancing allowed people to release the physical tension built up during days of high-stress work, transforming their relief into a shared social experience. They also created games. Children and adults participated in wrestling, racing, and throwing contests, activities that were exciting to watch, but also helped sharpen the coordination and speed needed for hunting and escape. The instinct to test our skills through play has never left us. Whether it's a physical race or a digital challenge, we still find excitement in proving our speed and intelligence in front of others. Beyond physical play, humans used pigments to create murals on cavern walls. These images of animals and symbols show that they were thinking about their world even when they weren't actively hunting it. These paintings suggest a capacity for observation and imagination. They weren't just reacting to their environment, they were interpreting it, capturing the movement of life in a way that others could see and discuss. That same curiosity drove them to explore. They followed rivers, climbed mountains, and observed the patterns of the stars, not just to survive, but because they possessed a natural urge to see what lay beyond the next horizon. By turning their surroundings into a stage for play and a canvas for art, early humans showed how closely imagination was woven into their daily lives. The most significant difference between their world and ours is the availability of leisure. For ancient humans, entertainment was rare and temporary, carved out of a day dominated by physical necessity. Because these moments were not constant, they commanded total focus. When a story was told or a celebration occurred, the scarcity of the event made it feel significant to everyone involved. This entertainment was also inherently communal. Isolation was dangerous, so almost every form of ancient play or expression happened in a group, reinforcing the tribal connections that kept them safe. Over time, we began to face forward. We moved into theaters and halls where we could watch a performance in silence, sitting beside others but consuming the experience in a more isolated, passive way. The human drive to step away from reality persists, regardless of the tools we use. Whether we are looking at a painted cave wall or a high-definition screen, we are still looking for a moment of escape. But we can still find that ancient sense of connection. It happens whenever we choose to participate in something together, laughing at a shared joke or telling stories without the distraction of a screen. At the end of the day, our need for joy hasn't changed. Fulfillment still comes from the same place it did tens of thousands of years ago,